Ranger Ethan Cole stepped out of his truck and closed the door behind him. The parking area was empty. No tourists came this far into the northern ridge of Yellowstone. He checked his radio. 1 bar. Not enough. He sighed, clipped it to his belt, and started walking. He'd been in the field before, military jungle missions, tough terrain, but this was different. Something was off. Reports said a group of bison had gone missing. Some rangers blamed wolves. But Ethan knew wolf tracks. These were different. Bigger. Deeper. And now, people were whispering about traps. Illegal ones. Probably meant for predators. He kept moving, following faint tracks in the dry dirt. Every few feet, he stopped and scanned the brush, quiet as a ghost. He didn't want to spook anything, or anyone. Minutes turned into an hour. His water bottle was almost empty. The sun was high, but he ignored it. He spotted something ahead, shredded bark on a tree and large claw marks. 4 lines, clean cuts. Not wolves, he muttered. His boots crunched on the ground as he moved closer. Something had come through here recently. And it wasn't afraid of anything. He pulled out his notebook, marked the location, and looked around. The trail curved toward the canyon edge. Thick trees stood ahead, too quiet for this part of the forest. No birds. No movement. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow. He felt lightheaded but shook it off. He'd pushed through worse. He took another step forward, and paused. A single print on the ground. Bigger than a wolf. Rounder. Almost feline. Ethan stared at it for a long second. He'd seen lions before. But that was in Africa. Not here. So what the hell left that? Ethan's pace slowed as he reached the edge of the canyon. The air felt thin. His breath came heavier with each step, his legs growing weaker under the weight of exhaustion. He glanced at his watch. Another hour passed, but he hadn't found anything that told him where the bison went. The claw marks still burned in his mind. Lions? In Yellowstone? He rubbed his eyes. His brain felt foggy. The heat was getting to him. His radio crackled again, but there was no signal. Not a single bar. His throat felt dry. Every step he took felt heavier than the last. He needed water. He knew there was a creek not far from here, but it felt like miles away. He stumbled over a rock, catching himself just in time. Sweat stung his eyes, and the world around him started to blur. Another step. He didn't hear it at first, the movement in the trees. The golden blur. A shape, darting between the thick trunks, fast and graceful. He froze. His hand instinctively moved toward his rifle, but the weight of it felt like it was dragging him down. His legs buckled and he dropped to his knees, vision spinning. He tried to push himself up, but his arms refused to listen. The ground felt colder. The canyon walls seemed to close in on him. Another step forward. He heard something, a soft rustle. He could barely lift his head. Everything was a haze. He looked up and saw a figure in the distance. Golden eyes, glowing in the fading light. A lion. Standing tall. Then everything went black. Ethan's eyes fluttered open. His body felt heavy, like it didn't belong to him anymore. His mouth was dry and his heart pounded in his chest. For a moment he couldn't remember where he was. His surroundings were blurry and the cold ground beneath him felt unfamiliar. Slowly his senses began to return. He heard the soft rustle of leaves, then a growl. Powerful. It sent a jolt of fear through him. Ethan's eyes snapped open, his pulse racing. There, just feet away, was the massive figure of a lion. Its golden eyes locked onto his, unblinking, assessing him like a puzzle it was trying to solve. The lion was silent, its massive body barely moving, except for its tail flicking lazily in the air. Ethan froze. His mind raced. How had it gotten so close? Was it going to attack? His hand twitched toward his rifle, but his muscles refused to cooperate. He couldn't move. He was vulnerable, weak. The lion didn't move forward. Instead, it took a slow step backward and circled around him, keeping its eyes fixed on him the entire time. It was watching him. Behind the lion, Ethan spotted a lioness. She stood close, watching just as carefully, her eyes narrow but calm. Near her, a small cub peeked out, its eyes wide with curiosity. Fear twisted in Ethan's stomach. He knew he was at the mercy of this creature. But instead of lunging, the lion simply sat down a few feet away, its gaze never leaving him. It was as if it had decided he was no threat. Ethan's mind flashed back to years ago, to a time when he had rescued a lion cub from a poacher's trap. The cub's golden eyes, just like this one. Could this be the same lion? The one he had helped all those years ago? His body was too weak to move, but his thoughts were sharp. Could this lion? Could it recognize him? The night stretched on, and Ethan remained motionless beneath the tree, his body too weak to move. The lion stayed close, its golden eyes glowing in the dim light, never leaving his side. The lioness remained near the cub, her gaze alert but calm, as though she too was watching over him. The air was thick with silence, the kind of stillness that could only be found deep in the wilderness, away from any human noise. Ethan's body ached, his mind foggy, but the presence of the lions kept him grounded, as if their very being was anchoring him to the world. In the distance, Ethan could hear the faint howls of wolves. Their eerie calls echoed through the canyon, but none dared approach the clearing where the lion stood. The wolves knew better. This land belonged to the lion now. Ethan's eyes fluttered shut for a moment, his exhaustion pulling at him, but he forced them open again. He couldn't sleep, not yet. His heart still raced, his mind struggling to piece together what was happening. Why hadn't the lion attacked? The lion had circled him earlier, then sat down beside him as if it was guarding him. It didn't want to hunt him. It didn't want to hurt him. It wanted to protect him. The realization hit him like a wave. This lion wasn't just a predator. It was his protector. Somewhere in the depth of his memory, Ethan remembered something else. Something that didn't make sense at the time, but now in the quiet night, it felt clear. This lion, this huge, scarred creature, was the same one he had helped years ago. The bond between them wasn't one of prey and hunter. It was a bond forged through mutual respect, through something deeper than just survival. Ethan's eyelids grew heavy again, but this time he allowed himself to drift. As he closed his eyes, the sound of the wolves faded, replaced by the steady, rhythmic breathing of the lion standing guard over him. The first light of dawn crept over the canyon, casting long shadows across the land. The rescue team moved cautiously, scanning the area for any sign of Ethan. His absence had caused a stir back at base, and every second counted. They knew the risks: poachers, wild animals, and the unforgiving wilderness. Suddenly, one of the rangers spotted something in the dirt, a footprint. Big feline. Over here. Mark, Ethan's closest friend, called out to the others. His heart was pounding. Was this it? Was Ethan alive? They rushed to the spot, following the trail through the thick underbrush. As they got closer, a shadow moved. A lion, huge and intimidating, stood at the edge of a rocky outcrop, watching them silently. Mark froze. The rest of the team hesitated. Had they found Ethan? Was he alive? Was he in danger? The massive lion, Ethan's silent guardian, stared at them without a hint of aggression. It didn't growl. It didn't charge. It just stood there, its golden eyes unblinking. Mark's pulse raced as he knelt next to Ethan. The ranger's pulse was weak but steady. "He's alive," Mark whispered, relief flooding through him. As the team carefully lifted Ethan onto a stretcher, the lion didn't move. It simply stepped back and gave them room, its eyes never leaving them. Mark glanced back as they carried Ethan toward the vehicle. The lion was still watching, a silent protector, its massive form standing tall against the morning light. The bond between them, between Ethan and the lion, was unmistakable. Later, as Ethan recovered, he couldn't shake the feeling that the lion had done more than just protect him. There was something deeper, something unspoken. He dug into the records, searching for answers. It turned out the lion had escaped from a sanctuary 3 years ago. The same sanctuary where Ethan had sent that cub, the one he rescued long ago. Could it be? There was no proof, but in his heart Ethan knew. He had been saved by more than just a wild animal. He had been saved by a bond that time couldn't break.